No matter how confident we feel we are, but when it comes to talking to your crush, everybody fumbles, everybody starts to shiver. And if this situation has happened to you, then ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to Skillopedia, the place where you learn skills for the real world. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about how to start a conversation with your crush. Well, this is something that happens to all of us. You like a person, but you start to fumble and you don't know how to act when you wish to talk to that person. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about how you can start a conversation with your crush confidently and just by being in the center of your body and not feeling too exaggerated. So let's get started. The first thing that I have for all of us is not the tip, but two things to consider in any situation when you feel nervous. And that is, number one, have a positive attitude always. It's very important that as a person you feel positive. And how can you feel positive? It's all about intentions, most importantly. It's all about confidence about yourself. It's all about breathing, most importantly, consciously. And the second important thing is always trust your gut. What is gut? Your intention, your intuitive feeling is called your gut. So always trust that. If you get certain signs, use those signs to move forward in life. So these two things are very important beyond any tips that we speak about and that we talk about in this lesson. So the first thing that we should keep in mind, a conversation strategy, is wait for the right time and place to start a conversation. It's extremely important. If somebody is in the middle of a project, especially your crush, you cannot just walk up to them and start talking to them in that situation. Well, they'll be busy and they may not be able to focus on what you're trying to say. So it's very important that you use downtime period. What is the meaning of downtime period? It means when somebody is not actively working or they are relaxed. Such situations are called downtime period. So use that time. Make sure you have enough time to talk. Select a situation whenever you wish to talk to your crush when you can see that the surrounding is not busy and the fact that you both can relax and just simply talk and have a good time. And finally, start a conversation when both are free. Partly what we are trying to say, downtime period when you're free. This point is extremely important. This happens before the conversation starts. So selecting the right time is stupendously important. And finally, think of any events that are coming up. For example, you are at college and you're both free. You can start talking about the college fete that is going to happen in a month's time or a project that is coming up. So you can start the conversation with something that is upcoming. So the situation becomes relevant. Yes, you can start talking about possibly a freshers party that you've got to organize as seniors. You can start talking about the college fete that is coming and the dresses that you guys are going to be wearing. You can talk about, such as if you're colleagues, if you're working in an organization, you can start talking about a presentation, upcoming presentation that is coming up. So downtime period and an upcoming event are two important things that we learn from this particular slide. Number two strategy is talk to your crush like you already know them. Now, what is the meaning of that? It's about feeling comfortable in your skin and making sure that you're not too exaggerated. Be relaxed and natural. It's one of the best things that people like about other people. When you're relaxed and, most importantly, natural, they do not feel that the situation is fabricated or it is fake. Don't be overly familiar with them. Yeah, don't act like as though you know everything about them already, although you may secretly know because you've been stalking them all over. But it's not a good idea to put a show of it because they may feel extremely uncomfortable. For example, saying, so I know your favorite color is black because I've seen all your pictures. It may come across as too strong. So try avoiding these sort of statements and gestures, showing that you're overly familiar with them. Next, keep your tone of voice and gestures and expressions as natural as possible. It's extremely important. Recently, I met a person and the person was using fake accent, and I was a little bit uncomfortable because I could feel that although it is sweet, but it was coming across as a little bit fake and a little bit not natural. So it's important that you be yourself. If it has to go somewhere, tell yourself, your gut will tell you. If it has to go somewhere, it eventually will. Strategy number 3 is think about their interests. It's very important, although you, as we discussed before, you may be stalking them and you may know about their interests already. But it's always a good idea to keep the conversation possibly scrolling around that. If you're a girl, you may want to start talking about cricket because a lot of boys like cricket, and so your crush may as well be liking it. And if you're a boy, you may start talking about shopping because girls often like shopping and the places to shop, etc. Well, we are not categorizing and being stereotypical here. We're just talking about general examples of daily life. Don't show that you know too much about them. It may make it awkward, as we've discussed it before. If you're familiar about their likes and dislikes, use that knowledge to your advantage. Always a great point. If you think that your crush is into shopping, start talking about it. If your crush is into colors or paintings or art, start talking about it. It makes conversation familiar and very comforting for especially your crush to start talking and have a conversation with you, as you're the one who's approached them. Number 4 is freshen your breath before you talk. I think this is one of the most important points in this particular video. For example, a person like me, I've got a dog's nose. I can smell things from afar. And there are so many people who've got the nose of a hound. They can smell things from afar as well. There are a couple of tips that I've written here for you to keep your breath fresh, because people feel comfortable around those people who are talking to them and they've got a fresh breath, isn't it? Happens to all of us. Wash your mouth or brush your teeth. I've got a friend, and I don't think that I can take his name here, but I've learnt this from him. He is in the Indian Air Force, and whenever he goes out of the house, if he goes out 3 times out of the house, he brushes his teeth thrice. I'm not kidding. I think he's learnt it from the military or what, but I think this is one good habit that I've taken from my friend Chirag. Whenever he goes out of the house, he always brushes his teeth. And this is something that you can do as well. Even if it is 3 times a day, why not? Number 2, the most important, avoid eating food with strong smells and buy a sugarless gum with xylitol. Now, sugarless gum will always help you secrete more saliva, which in turn will keep your breath fresh. And always make sure that you buy sugarless gum with xylitol, which is a very important chemical to keep your breath fresh. And the last one is drink a glass of water. It always helps. It makes you feel comforted and keeps your breath fresh as well. Point number 5 is limit overacting and exaggerated body language. Trying to be too confident, trying to be too buffed up, or trying to be too confident as a girl I've seen a lot of times. It kind of does the opposite work, to be honest. Going overboard can make them feel uncomfortable, as we've discussed, and stay calm, relaxed, and be yourself. It's extremely orgasmic when people are just themselves and they're not trying to be somebody else and they're not putting a show to be somebody else. And drink a glass of water, as we've said before, because it's very important, so I've put it twice. Drink a glass of water always, always. And most importantly, move on if it seems like your crush isn't interested. I said that the gum part was important, but I think the last point that I'm going to write in this slide is the most important of all, so watch it. Respect that they don't feel the same way. I used to have somebody I'm sharing something personal on public platform. I used to have somebody who was way too much after me. It was incredibly mind-boggling. It was very uncomfortable. As a smart person, what you can do is respect that everybody has their own spaces and their own situations. They may not be in the same space of time that you are, and they may not be on the same page that you are. So it's important that you respect it. And most importantly, don't use your time on someone who doesn't feel that you're awesome. Would you want to be somebody who doesn't feel that you're awesome? Would you want to be with that person? No, correct? So it's very, very important that you trust your gut and make sure that if you approach somebody and the person is not giving you the signs of interest, you take a back seat. Because in that situation, what you're showing is you not only respect them, but you respect yourself so much that you do not want to be with anybody who doesn't think that you are awesome. Use these tips and tricks to help you get started when the next time you want to talk to your crush. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the flip side.